I object to this wedding! Sang-woo is guilty. I can prove it!
What do you want from me, Ryeon?
Remember when Ryeon lost Vivian at his best friend's wedding? That was just the beginning. What you're about to watch? A marriage that was a trap, 6 children tortured in their own home, and a desperate mother who finally fights back. Episode 1 broke your heart. Episode 2? It's going to make you scream. Welcome to the Blood Heirs, The Wedding Crash. If you're new here, go watch episode 1 first. Links in the description. If you're back for more, you asked for it. Let's do this. The security guard's hand came up before Ryeon could reach the door. Mr. Park. The man's voice sounded flat and rehearsed. Your name is on the exclusion list. Ryeon stared at him. Behind the glass doors, crystal chandeliers lit the hotel ballroom in gold. There was champagne and laughter. Vivian was in a dress that caught the light, children circling her like planets around the sun. Sang-woo's hand rested on her waist, possessive, already claiming what wasn't his. Move, Ryeon said. I can't, sir. I said move. 2 more guards appeared. Guests turned to look. Whispers spread like fire. Ryeon's hands curled into fists at his sides, nails cutting into palms. Inside, Vivian glanced toward the commotion. Their eyes met through the glass. She looked away first. The humiliation tasted like copper in his mouth. He stood there, Seoul's most feared Mafia boss, blocked from a party like some nobody off the street. Through the window, Sang-woo smiled. Not at Ryeon, but the victory. Ryeon turned and walked back to his car. His driver didn't ask questions. Good. Because Ryeon had no answers, only rage that burned so hot it froze him from the inside out. His plan to crash the engagement party had failed, but at least he still had the wedding. They say revenge is a dish best served cold, he muttered to the empty back seat. But what about revenge served by a dying man? The city lights blurred past. Seoul never slept, never stopped, never cared who won or lost. 2 hours ago, he'd had evidence. He had proof and a plan to save Vivian from making the biggest mistake of her life. Now he had nothing but the taste of defeat and the knowledge that his uncle had seen him coming from miles away. His phone buzzed. It was Detective Hwang. Got something. You need to see this. Ryeon closed his eyes. The war wasn't over. It was just beginning. New to the series? Stop right here. Go watch episode 1 first. Links in the description. This story only hits differently when you know how we got here. We'll wait. Trust me, you need the whole picture. Ryeon's office at 2 a.m. looked like a command center for war. Digital screens covered one wall, showing medical records, financial documents, and security footage. Detective Hwang stood beside them, face drawn with exhaustion. Your uncle, Sang-woo, has stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Hwang pointed to the hospital records on screen. 6 months prognosis, maybe less. Ryeon studied his uncle's medical chart. The diagnosis was 3 months old. Sang-woo had been dying since before Vivian came back into Ryeon's life. Before the birthday party and before everything. He's been planning this the whole time. The realization settled in Ryeon's chest like a stone. The kindness, the marriage proposal, all of it. Kang Ji-won, his second in command, entered with more files. It gets worse, boss. Your uncle's been meeting with the Choi family. The Choi family, Ryeon's biggest rivals, the ones who'd been trying to take his territory for 5 years. Show me? Ji-won pulled up security footage. There was Sang-woo walking into a restaurant, Park Choi-min greeting him, documents exchanging hands. He's selling your secrets, Hwang said quietly. Trade routes, supplier contacts, everything. Ryeon's jaw clenched. And the children? He forged guardianship documents. If Vivian marries him, the kids legally become his. Through marriage and custody laws, he'd control them. And through them, Hwang didn't finish. He didn't have to. Through them, he controls my father's inheritance. Ryeon's voice was dead calm. The kind of calm that came before violence. The kids are Park's. My father's will specified blood heirs. If Sang-woo has custody, he has access to everything. But then Ji-won dropped the real bomb. Boss, there's more. We found another file, hidden in your uncle's medical records. He pulled up a document. A DNA test. It was recent. The DNA test was comparing Sang-woo's DNA to the children's. Wait, what? Ryeon leaned forward. Why would he, to make sure they're actually yours before he invested in this plan? Ji-won's face was grim. But look at the results. Ryeon scanned the document. All 6 children, matched to Ryeon's DNA profile that Sang-woo must have obtained somehow. All positive matches. except one line that made his blood run cold. Subject 6, Naledi Park. Paternal match, 99.9% to Park Ryeon. Maternal match, unknown. Subject does not match the maternal DNA of Vivian Jackson. Wait, did you catch that? One of the kids isn't biologically Vivian's? Or is Uncle Sang-woo playing games? Drop your theory in the comments right now. We're reading every single one. If you're already hooked on the story, this is a reminder to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on more stories like these. That's impossible, Ryan whispered. Boss, I ran it 3 times. Naledi is genetically yours. But she's not Vivian's biological daughter. The room tilted. How? How could one of the sextuplets not be Vivian's? Unless... Hospital error? Wang suggested. Baby switched at birth? With sextuplets in the NICU, it's possible another infant got mixed in. But that wouldn't still explain the kid matching your DNA unless you got someone else pregnant who was also giving birth in that hospital. Or Ji-won said quietly. Your uncle planted this document. He must have fabricated it to create doubt, to use as leverage. Ryan stared at Naledi's photo on the wall. She was 7 years old with the sweetest smile he'd ever seen. She was Vivian's daughter in every way that mattered. But genetically? Don't tell anyone about this. Ryan's voice was steel. Not Vivian. Not anyone. If this is real, if Naledi really isn't hers biologically, it'll destroy her. And if it's fake, it's exactly the kind of weapon Sang-woo would use. What do we do with it? We bury it. Focus on everything else, the cancer, the fraud, and custody documents. Ryan turned back to the screens. We stop this wedding and sort out the rest later. But the knowledge sat in his stomach like poison. There was one child who might not be who they all thought she was. It was one secret that could detonate everything. His phone rang. He answered without looking at the caller ID. Mr. Park. The voice was young, male, and amused. Ryeon, I've been waiting for you to figure it out. Who is this? Tae-jin, your cousin. Sang-woo's son. A pause. We should talk. I'd hate for you to embarrass yourself at the wedding more than necessary. The line went dead. Ryeon stared at his phone, mind racing. Sang-woo's son, the kid who'd been studying abroad for years, barely part of the family. Now calling in the middle of the night with threats wrapped in mockery. This family was rotten all the way through, and Vivian was about to marry into the center of it. The private club smelled like money and cigars. Ryeon found Tae-jin at a corner table, surrounded by laughing men in designer suits who went quiet when Ryeon approached. Ryeon! Tae-jin stood, arms open like they were family. Finally. Sit. Have a drink. Ryeon grabbed his collar instead. What is your father planning? The men at the table tensed. Tae-jin just smiled, unbothered by the hand at his throat. Aggressive. I like it. But you're making a scene. He glanced at the security cameras. And we both know you can't afford more bad press. Not with the wedding coming up. Ryeon released him. Tae-jin straightened his tie, still smiling that infuriating smile. Better. Now sit. I'll tell you a story. Ryeon sat. Every instinct screamed danger, but he needed information more than satisfaction. Tae-jin poured 2 glasses of whiskey. My father loved his brother. Did you know that? When they were young, before the business, before the money, they were close. Then your father inherited everything, the company, the territory, the respect, and my father got, he gestured vaguely, scraps. Second place, he became the family disappointment. This is about jealousy, this is about justice. Tae-jin's smile never wavered. My father's been waiting 30 years to take back what was stolen. And then your black woman showed up with 6 perfect little heirs, 6 kids with your face. Can you imagine his joy? The way he said black made Ryeon's hands curl into fists. See, here's the beautiful part. Tae-jin leaned forward. Your father's will says everything goes to legitimate Park heirs. You don't have any, you're not married, no kids, legally speaking. But if my father marries your woman, adopts your children, and makes them legitimate Parks through his line... He trailed off, letting Ryeon complete the thought. They inherit through him, exactly. And when he dies, which, let's be honest, is soon, it all passes to me. Your father's empire, your territory, everything. And there's nothing you can do about it because... Tae-jin's grin widened. Those kids aren't legally yours. Birth certificates say father unknown. You abandoned them, remember? Ryeon's phone buzzed. He ignored it. Why are you telling me this? Because watching you squirm is more fun than keeping secrets. Tae-jin finished his drink. And because my father said to warn you, if you try anything at the wedding, if you make a scene, we have enough dirt to bury you. Harassment charges, restraining orders, maybe even some creative accounting that ties you to crimes you didn't commit. Your choice, Ryeon. Play nice or lose everything. Ryeon stood. Stay away from my children. Your children? Tae-jin laughed, and his friends joined in. You mean the 6 little mixed-race accidents your woman dragged back to Seoul? The ones who can barely use chopsticks without looking like they're conducting an orchestra? The table erupted in laughter. Tae-jin wiped his eyes. Here's some free advice, Ryeon. You know what they say? Your pull-out game is as weak as your business strategy. 6 kids? That's not a family, that's a basketball team with substitutes. More laughter. Ryeon's vision went red, but he forced himself to turn and walk away. Behind him, Tae-jin made a phone call. He's more desperate than we thought. Move up the timeline. Outside, Ryeon leaned against his car, breathing hard. His phone showed 3 missed calls from G1. He dialed back. Boss, I found it. The reason your uncle hates your father. Tell me. 28 years ago, your father forced Sang-woo out of a business deal. He took his money, his connections, and his reputation, then left him with nothing. Your uncle's been rebuilding ever since, but he never forgot. This isn't just about inheritance, boss. This is personal. Ryeon closed his eyes. Revenge 30 years in the making, a dying man's final play, and Vivian and the children were caught in the middle. The DNA test on Naledi, Ryeon said. Dig deeper. Find out if it's real or if my uncle fabricated it. Already on it. But boss, if it's real, what do we do? If it's real, we deal with it after we stop this wedding. Ryeon opened his eyes. How long until the ceremony? 5 days. He had 5 days to gather evidence, to prove his uncle was a liar, a thief and a monster wearing the mask of a savior. He had 5 days to save the only woman he'd ever loved from making a mistake she couldn't undo. Get me everything, Ryeon said. Medical records, financial documents, and witness statements. I don't care what it costs. I'm stopping this wedding even if I have to burn the whole world down. G1 was quiet for a moment. Boss, what about the Naledi situation? Keep it buried for now. We tell no one. But the secret sat in Ryeon's chest like a time bomb, ticking down to an explosion that would destroy everything. He got in his car and drove away, carrying the weight of too many secrets and not enough time. The Park Estate Gardens had been transformed. There were white flowers everywhere, and traditional Korean wedding decorations mixed with modern elegance. Hundreds of guests stood in the venue in expensive clothes, whispering behind raised hands as Ryeon's car screeched to a halt outside. He'd spent 72 hours gathering evidence, 72 hours without sleep, living on coffee and rage, building a case so airtight even his uncle couldn't lie his way out. Now he watched from the car as Vivian appeared in her bridal suite window. White dress, hair perfect, face uncertain. She looked like she was trying to convince herself this was right. Ryeon's mother sat among the guests, frowning so tight her face almost cracked. She didn't want to be here, but somehow Sang-woo had made it compulsory for all family members to come and witness the show of shame. She hated being here. She hated Vivian for trying to infiltrate her perfect family with her embarrassing black skin, but what could an 80-year-old grandma do but sit down and watch this show of foolishness? I bet they won't last long, she whispered to her younger sister seated beside her. Seo-yeon smirked and gave a biting remark. She's going to leave this family as fast as she came in. Outside, Ryeon grabbed the briefcase full of documents and stepped out. Detective Hwang emerged from the passenger side. Ready? Hwang asked. Ryeon wasn't, but he moved anyway. Security tried to stop them at the entrance. Ryeon pushed through. Someone grabbed his arm. He shook them off. Guests gasped as he strode down the aisle toward where his uncle stood at the altar, looking frail and kind and exactly like the monster he was. The officiant's mouth fell open. Sir, you can't! This wedding cannot proceed. Ryeon's voice cut through the murmurs. I have evidence of fraud and conspiracy. All eyes turned to him, including Vivian's. She stood frozen halfway down the aisle, children arranged around her like a photograph. Her face showed shock, fear, and subtle anger. Ryeon! Sang-woo called gently. It was the voice of a man dealing with a difficult child. You're embarrassing yourself, am I? Ryeon opened the briefcase. Let's talk about your stage 4 cancer. You have 6 months to live. Did you tell Vivian that part? Gasps rippled through the crowd. Vivian's face went pale. Or should we discuss the forged guardianship documents? Ryeon pulled out papers, held them high. The meetings with the Choi family where you sold my business secrets? The bank accounts you've been draining? He moved to the projection screen the venue staff had set up for wedding photos. Connected his laptop. Medical records appeared, financial statements, and security footage of Sang-woo meeting with enemies. This man isn't marrying Vivian because he loves her. Ryeon's voice echoed in the sudden silence. He's marrying her to steal everything from me. The children, the inheritance, the family legacy, all of it. Because 30 years ago, my father took something from him, and this is his revenge. The crowd erupted. Voices overlapping, questions shouted, and cameras flashing. Vivian stood motionless, wedding bouquet trembling in her hands. Kwame pushed through the flower girls to stand in front of his mother. Mom? But Vivian wasn't looking at her son. She was looking at Sang-woo, whose expression had shifted. The kindness was still there, but underneath, something colder was forming. Then Sang-woo smiled. It was not the gentle smile Vivian knew. He had a sharp smile this time. Yes, I have cancer. His voice carried across the crowd. I told Vivian 3 days ago. We discussed it and decided love was worth fighting for even with limited time. Vivian nodded slowly, confirming his statement. Wait. No, that couldn't be. As for these documents, Sang-woo gestured to the screen. Ryeon paid Detective Hwang $500,000 to fabricate them. Show them the bank statements, Detective. Hwang's face went white. What? No, I didn't. But Sang-woo's lawyer stepped forward with papers. They were bank transfers from Ryeon's account to Hwang's, dates matching the investigation timeline. We also have 3 witnesses who will testify Ryeon threatened hospital staff to create false medical records. The lawyer's voice was smooth and practiced, and a psychiatric evaluation suggesting Mr. Park has been experiencing a mental health crisis since his divorce. The crowd murmured. Some looked at Ryeon with pity now, others with disgust. This is insane. Ryeon turned to Vivian. You know me, I know you abandoned me. Her voice was quiet and devastating. I know you chose your empire over us. I know your family spent 8 years making sure we stayed apart. So yes, Ryeon, I believe you'd do this. I believe you'd try to control me one last time. Vivian, please, leave. The word came out broken. Please, just leave. Kwame tried to move toward Ryeon. Tae-jin appeared from nowhere, catching the boy's arm, holding him back with a grip that looked casual, but had to hurt. You heard her, Ryeon. Tae-jin's smile was all teeth. Time to go. Security surrounded Ryeon. 4 men in black suits with apologetic faces, hands firm on his arms. Vivian! He fought against them, desperate. He's using you, please! They dragged him backward, away from her and away from his children, who watched with confused, frightened faces. They dragged him away from any chance of stopping this nightmare. The garden doors slammed shut behind him. Inside, through the windows, he watched the ceremony resume. He watched Vivian turn back to Sang-woo. He watched her take his hands and watched her say yes. Drop a fire emoji in the comments if you're Team Vivian's revenge, or a heartbreak emoji if you think Ryeon deserves one more chance, and tell us where you're watching from. This story is breaking hearts in 47 countries and counting. Your turn. Comment your country plus your team. Ryeon collapsed against his car, legs giving out and hands shaking. Ji-won appeared beside him, silent, steady. Boss. How? The word came out choked. How did he know? Every piece of evidence, every witness. He countered all of it. He had someone inside. Had to. Ji-won helped him stand. Someone who knew our investigation from the beginning. Detective Hwang emerged from the building, face ashen, hands trembling. Those bank statements are fake. Ryeon, you have to believe me. Get away from me. Ryeon's voice was dead. I don't know who to trust anymore. He got in his car. Through the window, guests streamed out of the ceremony, heading to the reception. Vivian appeared, now wearing her reception dress. Sang-woo's arm was around her waist. It was possessive and victorious. But for just a moment, Vivian's eyes found Ryeon's car. She found him, and in that moment, he saw it. The doubt, the fear, and the silent question, what if he was telling the truth? Then Sang-woo whispered something in her ear and she smiled, turning away, letting herself be led into her new life. Her new prison, and Ryeon sat in his car watching the only woman he'd ever loved marry his uncle, knowing he'd failed, again. His phone buzzed. It was a message from his cousin. He sent a picture of Sang-woo and Vivian kissing at the altar. The text below read, Game over, Ryeon. She's ours now. T. Ryeon deleted it, then pulled up a file he'd been avoiding. The counter DNA test result that proved Naledi was both his and Vivian's, and the doubts that once existed were all part of Uncle Sang-woo's games. Ryeon decided he was done being the victim. It was time to take matters into his own hands. He started the car and drove away from the wedding, carrying only rage and a promise. This wasn't over. Not even close. 3 weeks. That's how long it took for Vivian to realize she'd married a stranger. The first night was the worst. After the guests left, after the children were asleep in their new rooms at Sang-woo's estate, Vivian approached her new husband for a goodnight kiss. He pulled away like she'd burned him. Let's be clear. His voice was different. It was colder. The warmth that had drawn her in was gone, shed like a costume after the performance ended. This is a business arrangement. You stay in your room. I stay in mine. Vivian blinked. What? We just got married. You got security and legitimacy. I got heirs. Don't confuse this with romance, Vivian. That would be disappointing for both of us. He walked away, leaving her standing alone in the massive house that now felt more like a mausoleum than a home. The next morning at breakfast, Naledi bounced up to him with a drawing. "Uncle Wook, look what I made. It's our family. Don't call me that anymore." He didn't look up from his newspaper. "I'm not your uncle, call me sir." Naledi's face crumpled. The drawing fluttered to the floor. "And I don't look at children's art. It's a waste of time." Vivian stood. "You can't talk to her like that." "I can speak to them however I want." Now he looked up, and his eyes were ice. "They live in my house. They eat my food, so they'll follow my rules or they'll leave. Your choice." That should have been the moment Vivian packed their bags and ran. But where would they go? She'd given up her apartment, used her savings for the wedding, and legally, through marriage, Sang-woo now had parental rights. She was trapped. And it only got worse. Tae-jin moved in a week later. To help his ailing father, Sang-woo explained. But help wasn't what Tae-jin did. He tormented her and her kids. At dinner, watching Kwame struggle with chopsticks. "Should we get you training chopsticks? You know, the kind they give toddlers? Or maybe just a fork and spoon. Keep it simple for your background." To Thabo, examining his artwork, he said, "It's primitive. But I suppose that's authentic to your heritage. Very tribal." He touched Zara's hair without permission and said, "It's like a Brillo pad. Have you tried using a relaxer? Korean girls have such pretty straight hair. You'd fit in better." If Tae-jin's comments made your blood boil, smash that like button. We need this story to reach people who understand what microaggressions really do to kids. Tae-jin caught Oliver reading a book in Korean and said, "You can actually read that? Impressive. Most people from where your mom's from struggle with complex languages." To Vivian directly, he said, "You're so articulate. I mean, your Korean is excellent. Really, I'd almost forget you weren't from here if I closed my eyes." Each comment landed like a small cut. The kind that didn't draw blood, but left scars underneath where no one could see. Vivian reported every incident to Sang-woo, but he dismissed them all. "Tae-jin has a sense of humor. You're being sensitive." He called Oliver slow. Did he? Or did he say Oliver read slowly? "There's a difference, Vivian. Don't create problems where none exist." Mrs. Choi, the estate manager, joined the cruelty with bureaucratic efficiency. Vivian's children were served last at meals. The food was occasionally spoiled. Their rooms were the coldest part of the estate, heating mysteriously broken despite repeated complaints. "Oh, did I forget the heat again? My apologies." Her smile said she'd forgotten nothing. One night, Vivian found Oliver writing by flashlight after midnight. "Baby, what are you doing? Keeping records." He kept writing, face tight with concentration. "Evidence. For when we need it? Evidence of what?" He showed her his journal, page after page documenting abuse. She saw dates, direct quotes, and detailed observations. Day 23, Tae-jin called Mom the N-word at dinner. She pretended not to hear it. I pretended not to see her lock herself in the bathroom and cry for 20 minutes after. Vivian's hands shook as she read. Day 31, Uncle Sang-woo yelled at Olive for humming an African song. Said that kind of music doesn't belong in a proper Korean home. She hasn't sung since. Or spoken much. The words just stopped. She looked up. Olive sat on her bed across the room, silent, staring at nothing. How long had it been since she'd heard Olive's voice? Days? A week? Thabo's drawings grew darker. He drew black demons with cold eyes and children locked in cages. One particularly disturbing piece showed their house with bars on the windows and shadows looming over small figures cowering inside. His art teacher called, concerned. "These images suggest trauma. Has something changed at home?" Everything had changed. Everything. Then came the night Vivian found Kwame packing bags. Not just his, all his siblings. "What are you doing?" "We're leaving." His jaw was set, determined. "We're going to find Dad. He tried to warn you, and you didn't listen, but maybe if we..." "Kwame, we can't just leave. That's not how marriage works. You're too young to understand." "Why not?" His eyes were wet, but his voice stayed steady. "Why can't we leave? Why do we have to stay here where everyone hates us? Where they make Olive too scared to talk and make Naledi cry every day and..." His voice cracked. "Mom, why can't you fix this?" And there it was. The question she'd been asking herself every night. Why couldn't she fix this? Why had she chosen wrong again? Why had she trusted a man who promised safety but delivered prison? She pulled Kwame close. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." "Sorry doesn't help," he whispered against her shoulder. "Sorry doesn't make them stop." That night, after getting the children back to bed, Vivian stood in the bathroom staring at her reflection and recognized nothing. The woman looking back was a ghost wearing her face. Ryeon had tried to warn her. Kwame had asked if she was sure. She'd chosen wrong anyway, but maybe it wasn't too late to choose right. She pulled out her phone and scrolled to a name she'd saved years ago. It was attorney Lee Min-suk. He'd handled her legal work when she first came to Seoul. He was a good lawyer, but more importantly, he was honest. Her finger hovered over the call button. In the hallway, Tae-jin's laugh echoed. Someone was crying. It was probably Naledi. Again, Vivian pressed call. Attorney Lee? It's attorney Vivian Jackson. I need help getting out of a marriage, and I need you to not tell anyone I called. Outside her bathroom door, she didn't know that someone was listening and recording, preparing to use even this desperate plea as another weapon in a war she was only beginning to understand. The parking garage meeting felt like something from a spy movie. Vivian was in a hooded jacket and sunglasses despite the darkness. She was jumping at every sound. Attorney Lee Min-suk waited beside his car, face grim. Mrs. Park, though I suppose you want to go back to Ms. Jackson, I want to go back to before I made the worst mistake of my life. Vivian handed him a folder. Everything's in there. Photos, audio recordings, and Oliver's journal documenting the abuse. Lee flipped through the evidence. His expression darkened. This is... Miss Jackson, your husband is Park Sang-woo, one of the most powerful men in Seoul. Do you understand what you're asking? I'm asking you to free me and my children from a monster. He'll destroy you in court, make you look unfit. Use every resource. I know how these things go. I'm a lawyer, remember? To win this, we have to destroy him first. Vivian's voice didn't shake. I didn't survive 8 years as a single mother raising sextuplets to let some dying man steal my children's childhood. File for divorce and emergency custody. Today, but what Vivian didn't know was that someone had planted a listening device in her car. Someone who'd been waiting for exactly this moment. 3 days later, Sang-woo received the divorce papers. His response was vicious. He issued a countersuit for full custody under claims of parental alienation. He had expert witnesses, psychologists who testified that children needed Korean male influence and that Vivian's single parenting had left them culturally confused. The trial was brutal. Tae-jin took the stand, face solemn and voice concerned. I witnessed Miss Jackson hitting the children multiple times. She'd get frustrated, understandable, with 6 kids, but her discipline crossed the line. It was a complete lie. Vivian had never raised a hand to her children. I have photos. Tae-jin produced images showing real bruises on Olive's arm and a mark on Thaebo's face. The photos were real, and the bruises were real. But they'd come from accidents at Sang-woo's house. Mrs. Choi testified next. Miss Jackson neglects them. I've had to step in repeatedly to ensure basic care. More lies but backed by fake evidence, supported by paid witnesses. Then something unexpected happened. Vivian's lawyer stood. Your Honor, we have evidence that someone has been secretly funding MS Jackson's legal fees. Anonymous wire transfers totaling over $200,000. The judge frowned. From whom? We don't know, but we traced the accounts to a shell corporation linked to... Lee paused. To Park Ryeon, Your Honor. The courtroom erupted. Sang-woo's lawyer was on his feet. This proves collusion. Mr. Park is manipulating these proceedings. Or, Lee interrupted, it proves Mr. Park has been trying to protect Miss Jackson and the children all along, without credit and acknowledgement. Because he loves them. Vivian's head snapped up. Ryeon had been helping this whole time? All those months when she thought she was alone, drowning in legal fees, he'd been there in the shadows fighting for her. The revelation changed everything. Witnesses started recanting. Staff members at Sang-woo's estate, pressured by Ryeon, finally told the truth. Oliver's journal was re-examined and deemed credible. Thaebo's art teacher testified about the change in his work. And Olive, silent, traumatized Olive, whispered to the judge. He said African music doesn't belong in his house. I tried to stop singing. I tried so hard, but I couldn't remember how. The words just stopped. The judge deliberated for 3 days, then ruled full custody to Miss Jackson, full divorce and a restraining order against Mr. Park. This marriage is dissolved. Sang-woo's face twisted with rage. He tried to rise from his wheelchair, oxygen mask askew. Tae-jin physically restrained him. You'll pay, Sang-woo wheezed. Both of you. You think you've won? The bailiff intervened and escorted them out. 1 week later, Sang-woo died. Heart attack officially. But Vivian knew the truth. Rage killed him. Defeat stopped his heart more efficiently than cancer. The funeral was massive. Vivian went, not to mourn but to be sure. She stood at his grave after everyone left, looked down at the fresh-turned earth and the polished gravestone and spit. The glob of saliva hit the marker and slid down, distorting his name. Rot in hell, she whispered. Behind her, she heard footsteps and turned. Ryeon stood 20 feet away in a black suit, hands in pockets, eyes uncertain. He'd lost weight and looked older and tired in a way that went deeper than sleeplessness. Vivian, don't. She held up a hand. Whatever you're going to say. But he didn't listen. He dropped to his knees right there in the cemetery, on the wet grass, and spoke to the ground between them. I failed you twice. I was a coward twice. But please, let me be their father. Let me try to be something to you again. I'll take anything you're willing to give. His voice broke. 8 years, Vivian. I've regretted walking away for 8 years. Don't make it forever. Vivian felt nothing. No pity, no anger, just exhaustion and cold certainty that she was done being anyone's second choice. You had 8 years, Vivian said quietly. 8 years to fight. I gave you 20 days to choose us. You chose yourself every single time. I don't need saving. I saved myself. We don't need you, and I certainly don't want to get mixed up with your family again. Running into you at that wedding was a huge mistake. Attorney Lee appeared with an envelope and handed it to Ryeon. Ryeon opened it and his face went white. You're suing me? Yes. I want full custody with 0 visitation and child support too. 60% of your monthly income. Emotional damages $10 million. Pain and suffering $5 million more. Public acknowledgement of abandonment. Vivian's voice never wavered. Prove you want to be their father in court under oath, or you'll admit everything you did wrong. If I fight this, you'll lose everything. Then we both lose. I'm fine with that. She turned to leave, then stopped. Oh, and Ryeon? I'm not the only one who's got a vendetta against you. From behind a nearby mausoleum, Soo-ah stepped out. Ryeon's ex-wife, allied with Vivian. Hello, darling. Soo-ah's smile was icy. She handed Ryeon a second envelope. Fraud, emotional distress, defamation, $20 million, plus a public apology, plus the satisfaction of watching you squirm. You were paid to marry me. Prove it. My lawyers will destroy that claim. She stepped closer. You used me. Now I'll unmake you piece by piece. The two women stood united, both done with being casualties in his family's war. Ryeon knelt in the grass, holding 2 lawsuits that would financially destroy him, and for the first time in his adult life, had no move to make. He had no power to leverage and no way out. Then he heard applause. It was slow and mocking. Tae-jin emerged from behind another gravestone in an expensive suit. He wore a wide, pristine, and delighted smile. Beautiful. He clapped louder. 2 scorned women, 1 desperate man. This is better than television. Ryeon stood. What do you want? To talk about grandfather's will. Tae-jin pulled out a sealed envelope with the Park family crest embossed on expensive paper. Father found this before he died. A codicil. Very interesting reading. He opened it and read aloud. Should Ryeon Park reach age 33 without legitimate acknowledged heirs bearing the Park name, all assets, territories, and holdings transfer to the bloodline of Park Sang-woo. The world blurred before him. You turn 33 in 6 months. Tae-jin's smile was poisonous. And those adorable children? Their birth certificates say father unknown. They're not legal Parks. They're not legitimate heirs. They're just 6 mixed-race kids your woman dragged back to Seoul. He walked closer, enjoying every second. Which means, dear cousin, in 6 months, I will inherit everything. Your father's empire, your territory, and your legacy. All of it becomes mine unless what? Unless you publicly acknowledge the children as yours, make them legitimate Parks, and get their birth certificates changed to establish legal paternity. Tae-jin's grin widened. Of course, doing that validates these lovely lawsuits. It proves you knowingly abandoned them and makes you liable for everything these women are claiming. Plus, it makes the children targets. He let that sink in. Every enemy you've made in 15 years as a crime boss, they'll know exactly where to find your weaknesses. 6 small, vulnerable weaknesses who can't defend themselves. You'll have to protect them 24 hours a day. 1 mistake, 1 security lapse, and... He shrugged. Well, accidents happen to children of powerful men. Vivian's heart dropped. He's bluffing. Am I? Tae-jin pulled out photos. The photos showed Olive getting ice cream yesterday, Kwame walking to school this morning, and Naledi at the playground. I've had people watching them for months. It was father's orders initially, but now they work for me. 1 phone call and, well, you understand. Ryeon's hands shook. You'd hurt children? Me? No, I'm not a monster. Tae-jin's smile never wavered. But I know monsters. And they owe me favors. So here's your choice, uncle. Acknowledge the children, lose your fortune to these lawsuits, make them targets for every enemy you have, destroy your reputation admitting you abandoned them, or walk away. Keep them safe in obscurity, keep your secrets and hand me the empire gracefully. They'll never know you chose power over them again. He held out the will. You have 3 days to decide. My lawyers will be waiting." He started walking away, then paused and smirked. "You know what's beautiful about this, cousin? You finally wanted to be a father. You finally chose them. And it's the choice that destroys you. Poetic, don't you think?" Tae-jin walked away, whistling something cheerful that sounded like a funeral march. Vivian and Soo-ah stared at Ryeon. Both realized they'd been outplayed. Their lawsuits were real, would devastate him financially. But acknowledging the children to save his inheritance would cost him even more. And endanger the children. There was no good choice, only bad and worse. Ryeon looked at Vivian. "Did you know about the will?" "No." Her voice was quiet. "I swear I didn't know. But you knew about Soo-ah. You've been coordinating. For weeks, since before the divorce." Vivian's jaw tightened. "We compared notes and realized we both had reasons to destroy you. Then we decided 2 lawsuits were better than 1. "And now?" Ryeon muttered. "Now that you know what acknowledging them means?" Vivian looked at the lawsuits in his hands, at Soo-ah, and at the grave where Sang-woo rotted. She thought about the future that had just imploded. "I don't know," she whispered. "I don't know anymore, but I know I don't want to get mixed up in this family's mess anymore. I'm done." "What does that even mean?" Ryeon asked, completely broken. In the distance, visible through the cemetery gates, the children played in Vivian's car. Kwame was reading to his sisters, Oliver was drawing, and Thabo was laughing at something Naledi said. Zara was teaching Olive a clapping game, and Olive was smiling, talking again, healing slowly from months of trauma. They had no idea their entire future rested on an impossible choice. Acknowledge them and endanger them. Abandon them and lose them forever. Either way, Ryeon lost. Either way, they all lost. He stared at the will in his hands, at the lawsuits, and at the 72 hours counting down like a bomb, and had absolutely no idea what to do. At the far end of the cemetery, Aunt Seo-yeon stood and watched. She knew the battles that were coming, and she knew which side was losing. The problem was no one would believe the truth even if they heard it. Hit subscribe right now, because this story isn't over, it's just getting started. Episode 3 drops next week, and you do not want to miss what happens next. Ryeon has 3 days to make an impossible choice. Vivian has to decide if revenge is worth the cost. And Tae-jin? He's just getting warmed up. Comment below, what would you choose, empire or family? And smash that like button if this episode destroyed you, because episode 3 is going to be even worse. We're just getting started, and nobody's coming out of this clean.